Hey there, Screaming Ghostface collectors, how's it going? I'm your host Douglas here at Drowned Boy Productions, bringing you another Screaming Ghostface collectors video. Let's start things off with a newer piece that I've been meaning to pick up for quite a while now, so I guess it's not super new, but still a newer piece. We have the Amigos Ghostface socks. Now, whenever it comes to Ghostface apparel, I don't try to collect everything. There's just too much out there to try and collect, as well as trying to collect masks and merchandise and costumes. So whether it be backpacks, handbags, socks, shoes, pants, shirts, jacket, typically I don't pick those up unless they're in my size and I really like the design, or if it's just really cool. These, in my opinion, are really cool because, of course, you have an entire Ghostface, or technically two of them, a pair of killers, for your socks. Now, the back of the packaging is nothing too crazy. Really, there's no write-up or anything down here as far as anything about Ghostface, but we do have a pretty cool image of Ghostface here, some artwork that I kind of wish Fun World would use on some other merchandise. But yeah, outside of those basics, there's really not too much to look at as far as these are concerned. But speaking of footwear, I almost forgot about this, so let's go ahead and take a look. This will be a cool one for you Ghostface cosplayers out there. As many of you know, for years and years, people looked for the exact type of boots that were worn by Ghostface in the original 1996 Scream. And only recently have they finally been identified, and still, at this point, a pair has never popped up. We know what they are. They're Reebok Box Boots, and we know what make and model they are. You can see Nate Reagan's video on that if you want to learn more. He's done a great video, I believe, on all the different footwear from the killers in Scream. Like I said, an original pair of those boxes never popped up, but I did find some that are very close. And I think it was Nate that actually did find these on eBay for me, either him or Samir Ghazi, but I think it was Nate that found these. Here we have a pair of box boots that are very close to the original Ghostface boot. They are absolutely the closest boots to the original 1996 Ghostface boots that I have seen thus far. They could be dyed to be a little bit darker because they are more of like a reddish brown color, not very red, but still slightly red. You guys will see some close-ups at the end, but just showing you the bottom as well. They do have the box logo on it. And the best thing about these, they're actually in my size. These are a size 15 and they are a snug fit, but they are basically brand new boots. And I mean, for Ghostface cosplay, doesn't get much better than this, whether I'm wearing them, whether they're going to be on display. A great pickup. And they were kind of pricey, but still a little bit cheaper than what I would pay for a brand new pair of shoes. So even though they are not the same exact model, they are certainly the closest thing to it that I have seen pop up thus far, and I'm very happy to add these. Especially love the fact that, yet again, they're in my size. Alright, I guess just for a nice transition, since we were talking about something from 1996's Scream, let's go ahead and take a look at something else which is related to the original Scream. Here we have a very rare autograph photo that I picked up on eBay. But the reason why I picked this one up is because of what the photo is. Here we have an original Wes Craven signed photo, and this one is a behind the scenes photo of Wes with Drew Barrymore. If you're watching this, I don't need to explain to any of you why this is an important piece. Finding stuff signed by Wes is somewhat difficult, but finding stuff that is Scream specifically signed by Wes, even more difficult. And even then, when you do find Wes signed stuff that pops up, typically it's some of the more common promotional materials which were signed in bulk or signed at some event. This is a photo I have not seen pop up very often signed by him, and the quality of the print is very nice. Now, the reason why I picked this one up in specific is because I'm really hoping at some point in the future I can meet Drew Barrymore, or maybe she'll do some sort of an autograph company sign away type thing where I can send this in and have it signed by her. But to have something signed by Wes and Drew, and especially to have a shot of the two of them sharing such a special moment during, of course, one of the most iconic scenes in horror film history, that would just be an incredibly special piece. But just to have it signed by Wes is pretty fantastic. And this thing is authenticated. It's got a hologram sticker on the back, all that kind of stuff. So I know for certain that this is legitimate. Plus, you can tell it is live ink on the photo, so Absolutely could not pass on this piece. All right, moving right along to another modern Ghostface piece. Here we have something that I only just recently picked up, and I actually did find this guy locally. Here we have the Roto Funny Ghostface plush. These little fellows were made by NECA, and let me just take a look at the tag here. The front has the pretty basic image of the ultra white, not a terrible image. At this point, much more welcome than seeing the TD stamp image. Then we have Ghostface Lives on the back, of course the regular Ghostface branding, and NECA company. This was Kid Robot technically, not just NECA, but Kid Robot. And it says it's designed with screams. So yeah, he looks like he's pretty terrified. It seems like the face here gets scuffed up super easy. So whenever I went and I found these in person, every one of them was pretty beaten up and banged up. This was the best copy, and it was absolutely perfect. Whenever I took it to the register though, as the lady rung it up, she was just holding it in her hand and like went to push something on the keypad and ended up scuffing his little cheek over here. And I was able to kind of clean up most of it, but it's still noticeable. But I'm not making that point to be like, oh, she damaged my collectible, which kinda. But more so, it is the fact that these are very fragile, or they're just very prone to getting scuffed, having things transfer over to them, it seems. The fact that you can actually remove the hood and everything is a nice touch. He does have a piece here where you can hang him if you want to. I don't think that was ever meant to go through the hood. In fact, it was probably meant to be more so like this, then you can hang it, but these are all just sitting on a shelf. And yeah, his little hands here, they do swivel. They're made out of, yeah, it is like a rubber, so you can squeeze it somewhat. Feet, same thing, you can swivel those around, though I'm not sure why you would want to. He's mostly going to sit there kind of in like a pouty position, I guess. I don't know what you would call this position, but it is a really cute Ghostface plush. Out of all the ones that have been created so far, like the ones with the full plush face and stuff, I think this is probably one of the cutest looking ones. And I could be wrong on this one, but I think the face on these glows in the dark. Maybe it's a Target exclusive that glows in the dark, because I did not find these at Target, but I did see some people posting that they found these at Target and they glow in the dark. So I'm not sure if it's an exclusive. Maybe I'm missing out on that. Maybe you guys can let me know in the comment section down below. But still, I'm really happy to add one of these to the collection. And of course, as per usual, I saved the best for last. And this next piece is something that completes a collection. I'm actually going to show you guys, I guess, the full collection since I've already got them down. But these are pretty massive and are going to be a little bit difficult to display, at least in this video. I already know how I'm going to hang them up. Alright, this next piece comes to us from fellow Screaming Ghostface fan and collector, Ann Hale. If you have never seen Ann's collection, go check it out over on Instagram. It is pretty amazing. This is a piece that Ann had a duplicate of for quite a while, and I've been trying to get one of these for quite a while. Throughout the years, I actually have not seen any more surface, especially in hangable condition. When you see it, you guys will know what I'm talking about, but of course, here we have another Scream wall and door plaque. This one being a glow-in-the-dark version, of course, as you can tell by the coloration. And this is the Gen 2 version, not meaning that this is the second version that was produced, though it could be. I'm not 100% sure how these are produced and what order, but what we have here is a very large vacuform piece. And that's also why they're so hard to come across. They were made of a very thin, fragile plastic. Usually when you find these, they are cracked, they're damaged in some way. One collector actually was lucky enough to find the MK version of the same thing, a whole bunch of them tagged, and most of those were still in great condition, but realistically, when you find these online, they're going to be damaged, they're going to be cracked. Usually the corners are going to be beaten up, and very seldom do you ever find them originally tagged. Also, one thing I just noticed over here on the tag, it has a clearance sticker for $6.96. How about that? So these go for a lot more today. These are not incredibly sought after, incredibly expensive pieces. However, what does make them pretty expensive if you are trying to purchase them as a collector is the shipping cost. Because for Ann and I shipping one of these back and forth, all we did was trade. I traded her a tag copy that she was missing to help complete her set, and she traded me a tag copy I was missing to help me complete my set. But for the two of us shipping them back and forth, it was over $80 to send these. And that is very pricey for something that is hollow plastic, but you also do have to package them pretty well because of how fragile they are. It would not take much for the post office to destroy these. Now, I mentioned there's Gen 2 versions and there are MK versions, and what I mean by that is the following. Here are both versions I'm talking about side by side. These both glow in the dark. They have the very same tags. And of course, if you look at the face mask, you can tell they are wildly different. This one is much more cartoonish and much more akin to the MK Squinty version of the mask, and this looks almost exactly like a Gen 2 in my opinion. This is a much better looking wall hanger than this, but they're both very, very cool. Now, there is one other piece in this lineup outside of just these two glow-in-the-dark pieces. They did also make a blacklight reactive version of the Gen 2, and here is one of those. These were cast in a white plastic instead of black, but outside of that, really, if I had to choose between the two of these, I'm choosing this all day. I just think the colors are so much cooler. But the glow-in-the-dark wall hanger is still a really, really cool piece, especially if you were getting them for like $7 back in the day. But yes, out of everything I own here in the collection, I would say those three pieces are probably the most fragile Screamin' Ghostface collectibles. I think that would pretty much have to be it, outside of maybe just some paper decorations. Regardless, I have to give a massive thank you to Ann Hale yet again for helping me out and making that trade. At long last, I can finally be free of searching for one of these vacuum form pieces in one piece. Because yeah, I forgot to mention it, but the part that is most often broken off of these isn't the corners and stuff like that. It's these, the pieces that you need them to hang on. They're so thin and fragile right around there. I'm sure if I just took this and bent it ever so slightly, it would just shear off right at that edge. And a lot of them that I've seen are missing either one or both. So to have a full set of these that are all able to be hung up is very, very awesome. Anyways, with that being said, there's nothing left to do but give you guys some nice close-ups. I hope you enjoyed today's video. We had some really, really cool additions, nothing absolutely mind-blowing, but if I had to choose a favorite out of everything that we got today, it would have to be the Wes Craven signed photo first, and second, of course, the wall hanger that now completes that set. Anyways, I'm rambling on as usual. I love you all, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed today's video, and see you next time.